I couldn't move. The whisper had come from right beside me. No mistaking it. No wall between us this time. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't wind. It was a voice, real, deliberate, soft enough to feel like a breath on my skin. It said, "Claire," just like it always did, but this time I felt it in my ear. I turned fast. No one was there, just Emily's room, cold, dark, still. Her notebook still open on the floor. The lamp on her nightstand flickered once and then steadied. The house didn't creak or groan. It just watched and listened. I slept with the lights on that night. I locked the door, put a chair against it, even though I knew, deep down, that locks didn't matter anymore. The next morning, I told the police I was staying at a friend's. That was a lie. I just wanted them gone. They weren't going to find Emily. They didn't believe me anyway. The detective in charge, a man named Haskell, kept asking if Emily had any history of depression, if she was running from something, if she had a boyfriend I didn't know about. He even asked me once, "Are you sure she didn't just leave?" No, I wasn't sure about anything anymore, but I still in the house. Not alive, not dead, just somewhere else. I started noticing changes, small things at first. The walls of the house seemed to have depth, not just hollow space behind plaster. Sometimes when I passed a section of wall, it would feel colder than the rest, sometimes warmer. I'd knock and hear strange delays in the echo, like the space behind the wall was shifting, expanding. One night I found every photo of Emily in the house flipped over, face down, on shelves, tables, in albums. Even the lock screen on her old phone had gone black. The house wasn't just haunted, it was alive, and it was hungry. I decided I needed help, not from the police, not from psychics, from someone who knew the house. So I went digging, town records, archives, deeds. I visited the town hall in Ashfield and spent 5 hours in a musty room going through tax rolls and newspaper clippings. And that's when I found something. The house had a history. Back in 1912, it belonged to a man named Elias Gray, a doctor. He ran a private asylum out of the house, resting place, for women suffering from hysteria. In other words, he locked women up in the basement and told the world they were insane. At least 3 women were listed as missing while under his care. None were ever found. The asylum was shut down in 1921 after a fire destroyed the West Wing. The fire report said something strange. Walls opened up during the blaze, collapsed inward, as if the house consumed itself. The house was rebuilt over the old frame in 1923. That's the house we inherited. That night, I couldn't sleep, not from fear, but from something worse, certainty. Emily hadn't just disappeared, she'd been taken. Around 3:00 a.m., I got up to use the bathroom. I walked past the hallway where I'd last seen her, standing barefoot, hand against the wall. The air felt electric, like static before a storm. That's when I saw the door. It wasn't there before. A narrow, wooden door at the end of the hallway, flush against the wall. No handle, no hinges. I reached out, touched it. It was warm. Not just warm, beating, like a pulse. I yanked my hand back and ran. The next morning, the door was gone. Just smooth wallpaper where it had been. But I wasn't imagining things anymore. The house could change, shift, respond. It was reacting to me, and I knew what I had to do. I went into the attic. That's where it all started, I think. Or where it ended. For Emily, the attic had always been dusty and unused, just boxes, old trunks, the usual. But that morning something felt different. The window was open. The air smelled like burnt wood and iron. The light had a greenish tint, and carved into the far wall, freshly carved, was the same symbol we'd found inside the torn open plaster. A circle. Inside it, an open eye. Inside that eye, a spiral. My head throbbed just looking at it. Then I heard the whisper again. Only it wasn't just my name this time. It was a sentence. "She's in the hollow." I didn't know what that meant. But I remembered the page in Emily's notebook, the one with the fake floor plan, the hidden rooms, the X by her bed. I went back downstairs and measured the hallway outside her room. Then I went into the guest room on the other side of the wall. Something didn't add up. There was space missing. At least 6 feet of it. A room that wasn't on the official blueprint. I started tapping on the walls. Hollow. Hollow. Solid. I knocked again. And then a whisper answered, "Come inside." I didn't run this time. I pressed my palm against the solid spot and felt the same warmth as before. My skin tingled. Then, slowly the wallpaper began to ripple. Like water, the wall gave way under my hand, not like a door opening. More like skin tearing. I stepped back. A hole appeared. Small at first, then larger until it was big enough for me to crawl through. What was on the other side wasn't a room. It was a tunnel. It smelled like old blood and rotting wood. The walls were not drywall or wood beams. They were flesh-like, pulsing, veined, covered in patterns that looked almost like writing. I crawled for what felt like an hour. The whisper followed me the whole way, echoing through the fleshy walls. "Claire, Emily Hollow. Come home?" Then I saw it. A space round like a dome at the end of the tunnel. In the center a chair, old, wooden, blackened by fire. Strapped to the chair was a dress, Emily's dress. I ran to it, hands shaking. It was scorched and smelled like soot, but I knew it was hers. I checked the pocket, and inside was a folded piece of paper. It was a drawing. The symbol again, eye, circle, spiral. Below it, written in pencil, "Don't listen. Don't speak. Don't answer. Just leave." I turned around to leave, but the tunnel was gone. The walls had closed behind me. And then I heard her scream. Emily. Her voice, alive, muffled, somewhere deeper inside the house.